Hello, everyone, and welcome to a news episode of What's New in Cloud FinOps. This is May 2026 with myself, Franck Contrepoix, and my great friend...
Stephen Old. Hi, Frank.
Oh, you said Stephen Old.
Yeah, I did. I decided I didn't feel right last time.
Come on. Try again with the other one.
Steve-O. There we go.
Look at that. Steve-O. There is this Steve-O.
I do say it a lot more. I call myself Steve-O so much more than Stephen Old. I bet people are fed with hearing this bit. Yeah, indeed. There is a small risk, Frank. I'll just tell you now. They've changed how they've laid out the media board, which is great because I've lowered the noise of the transition too. But I have no idea if it's going to be live or record. We'll find that out when we listen. Well, I say when we listen, and someone else listens on our behalf. Yes. There we go. So, without further ado, shall I make the first noise?
Go. Instances and compute. First one is AWS announces AWS Interconnect, multi-cloud connectivity with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure in preview. So it doesn't change your price, but at the same time, I feel it's important that we see this multi-cloud expanding and how even cloud vendors are feeling the pressure to connect between each other. Oracle being the one that is the most interconnected. The others, it seems.
Yep. So this allows AWS to provide consistent, simple experience to our customers on OCI in preview, Google Cloud generally available, and Microsoft Azure coming later in 2026.
Yes.
I remember, and I hope I haven't got this wrong, Azure and OCI did it quite early on.
Yes.
They share a lot of data center buildings.
Yes, and I think it was for service in particular. If you had your database on OCI,
I think
you could connect your, what was it? No, it's not Tableau, Power BI.
Yeah.
Directly to your database in OCI, and the prices was agreed. But I think this is important because all of a sudden you don't need to go through internet. So are the prices just below internet costs? I don't know, but I would hope for.
Well, it'll be interconnect prices, I'd imagine, which has its own private interconnect price, has its own thing. What's it called? Private relay, whatever it's called. Yes. Had its own when I used to sell networking. Indeed, private connect. It's you again, anyway.
It's me again. Announcing general availability of Amazon EC2 M3 Ultra Mac instances. So Amazon Web Services announced the general availability of Amazon EC2 M3 Ultra Mac instances powered by the latest Mac Studio hardware. So it is the next generation EC2 Mac instance. It enables Apple developers to migrate their most demanding build and test workload into AWS.
But why is it not M8? I thought we were beginning to see them align.
Yeah, no, but I think it's not M8 because this is Mac 3.
Sorry, so what I was meaning was, why is it not like some of the other instances, they've all tried to align the numbers? But I guess this one they can't because there isn't...
I don't know. It's strange it is...
Are they going back?
Yes, because there is a, compared to an EC2... M4 Max Mac instance, M3 Ultra. Yes, because I think, there was something with the Apple chipset that the M3 Ultra was 2 and was better than 2 M3s because normally they had them, and it was better than an M4 Max or something like this.
Really?
It has more memory. So for the workload that we have now,
on the chip.
Yes, and not only on the chip, but also providing twice the unified memory, 1.75 the CPU core, 1.5 the GPU cores, 2 the neural engine core. So I think it's really about AI running better on an M3 Ultra than it would run on an M4 Max.
Right, there we go. Okay.
Yes.
Microsoft, generally available. The DIDE all have released their V7 VMs. So Azure has announced general availability of all those, the DI, D, and E. Machines powered by the latest Intel Xeon 6 Granite Rapids processors. These are general purpose and memory optimized machines. They deliver up to 20% better general performance compared to the previous Intel-based V6 VMs, alongside major improvements in scale, networking, storage, blah, 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 blah.
It's better.
Yeah, it's a bit better. Better. I'll try to see if they don't mention the price comparison. I will go and do that research momentarily. The other one I've got is generally available Azure Functions Durable Task Scheduler. The Durable Task Scheduler consumption SKU is now generally available. Run durable workloads and AI agent orchestrations on Azure with pay-per-use pricing, no storage to manage, no capacity to plan, and no idle costs. It supports up to 500 actions a second, 30-day data retention. I was worried about doing the day and data bit, and in the end couldn't get my 30 instead of 300. And has built-in monitoring and stuff. So that is those ones. I will play the sound while I go and research the price difference between the V6 and the V7.
Okay. Data, DB, and AI. Lots of AI. Let's be very clear on there. We might create a separate section at one point. So first one, cloud platform on AWS is now generally available. So today, AWS announced the general availability of cloud platform on AWS, a new service that gives customers direct access to Anthropic native cloud platform experience through their existing AWS account. AWS is the first cloud provider to offer access to the native cloud platform experience. So now you have the choice to access the native cloud platform experience, including API, console, early access beta features directly through AWS account. So they are a reseller. That's what it means, without managing separate account billing or tracking. But it's still probably going to be using Anthropic unit of measure for billing, my guess. So, but interesting, cloud platform on AWS is operated by Anthropic. So once more, someone else is putting their stuff inside AWS data center. This is becoming standard.
It is.
And customer data is processed outside the AWS security boundaries. Yeah, okay, it's a proxy.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you can access now cloud platform from AWS, and your data is going to be not on AWS, the elaboration at least, but you get access to the full experience. There are tons of other things, but it's available in lots of places.
Fantastic.
Next one is Amazon Bedrock expands support for request level usage attribution. Amazon Bedrock customers can now attribute model inference usage to specific teams, application, environment, and experiments at the individual request level on the invoke model and invoke model with response stream API. This gives customers fine-grained visibility to how their Amazon Bedrock usage is distributed across the organization, helping them understand consumption patterns, spend, and report usage back. This is very relevant to FinOps because it's a cost attribution that you, at this point, you need to do at the API level. You need to do at the request level. You cannot control or measure monthly or quarterly your AI consumption because every prompt is vastly different from the next one. So you might have one environment in Bedrock. It might be used by every department in the company. Bringing things back is hard, and having that done by Amazon is better. Then I have still Bedrock expands support for service quotas. Amazon Bedrock, okay, blah, 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 it does lots of things. Amazon Bedrock customers can now view inference quotas for the Bedrock Mantle endpoint through AWS service quotas. I have no clue what I just said. This gives customers a familiar, consistent way to track limit for this endpoint, the same way we already do for the Bedrock Runtime endpoint and other AWS services, and give them clear visibility, it seems, into the limit that apply to the workload. So it supports the OpenAI Response API, the OpenAI Chat Completion API, and the Anthropic Message API letting customers run existing OpenAI Anthropic-based application on Amazon Bedrock with minimal code change. The service quota now expose per model input token per minute and output token per minute quotas for supported models on the endpoint. I really hope it helps you there. I think it's yours now, no? I think
it is. Sorry, I'm struggling to get a real answer out of checking the comparisons of prices. They look more expensive, but I don't know if that's because I've added temporary storage. So not that interesting. Right. Okay. So we're on to the Gemini. Gemini Enterprise. Priority. So this is for a Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform. The model's Priority Paygo. Priority Paygo is a consumption option that provides more consistent performance than standard Paygo without the upfront commitment of provisioned throughput. It is ideal for business-critical workloads with fluctuating or unpredictable traffic patterns. As you can probably imagine, you are paying more per transaction, but you are going to get the performance without having to have the dedicated throughput. The article that this is in, or the document it's released in, doesn't give you that much detail on the pricing piece. So just running through onto that, see if I can give you a quick highlight of the pricing differences. Price per million tokens for standard. So I'll look at 3.1 Pro Preview is $2. It's $3.6 for the million on the priority version. So that gives you a bit of an idea. It is a chunk higher, but you're getting more performance. The next piece of news is from Microsoft, and there is a blog around building AI apps with Azure Cosmos DB key trends from Cosmos Conference 2026, and treating cost and performance as concerns as one of the main pieces out of there. And you can watch how Vercel in this instance approaches that with real-time feedback on performance and cost. So worth a look at. Well, it's been a while since we told you to have a look at kind of a bloggy video thing, but there's one there. We will put the notes in the comments, but it kind of runs along with what you imagine and some of the stuff that came from FinOpsX. You've got to be able to see it and understand it. There is a BigQuery announcement as the next one. Starting August the 11th, 2026, the billing label for BigQuery data transfer service SKU will be updated from Goog BQ feature type. Data underscore transfer underscore service uppercase to the same thing, but it being in lowercase. Now, some of you may not care about that. It might not be as important. Others, this might absolutely blow up everything you ever built because it's case sensitive. So just watch out for it. You've got a month and a bit to almost 2 months to fix it, but just in case you've got anything built on that. And then the final one is cost-efficient Gemini Model 3.1 Flash Lite is out of preview and is now generally available. Hopefully I have that page open. I've got Flash Lite. The input for a million tokens that I talked about earlier in comparison is $0.25, so 25 cents. That's for text, image, and video, which is the comparative one to the one I told you about. Let me see if it's got a priority price. It does. On priority, it's 0.45 compared to 3.6. So significantly cheaper, but it's obviously a much, much lighter model. But more often than not, that will be more than enough for what you're trying to do. And that's I
wrote an article that AI is mediocre, but mediocre for lots of things. For me, for example, is better than my level of competence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it just needs to be good enough.
Exactly.
Cool. So it's a noise, isn't it? It's that time.
And it's you.
Oh, it's me. Automate storage. So this is storage. Automate storage compatibility with GKE dynamic default storage classes. Oh my goodness! I'm sure this is news you've all been waiting for. So managing storage across mixed generation VM clusters in Google Kubernetes engine GKE just got easier with new dynamic default storage class. So GKE automatically selects between persistent disk, PD, and hyperdisk based on the node-specific hardware compatibility. This abstraction eliminates the need for complex scheduling rules and manual pairing, ensuring your volumes just work, regardless of the underlying infrastructure. By defining both variants in a single class, you reduce operational overhead while maintaining peak performance and cost efficiency across your entire cluster. I would still say be careful, be conscious, be wary, because if it flips to hyperdisk to keep it working or what have you, but you stop kind of paying attention or tracking this stuff, could be a little bit of a risk to your costs.
But yes, I think this might be really useful when you are using ephemeral VMs and you mix them and match them.
It'd be about using Spot behind it or whatever, or preemptible, and being able
that if something falls, you can go back to an instance tab that might be costlier, but is always available. And yes, it will automatically adapt to the storage.
Or on the flip side, you find one that's cheaper in Carpenter and it flips across to it, and it will automatically move across there. It just got to make sure that you're tracking whether you're getting hit in the storage versus the cost on the thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess your storage volumes would have to be quite significant for it to become a risk greater than change. But of course, I guess if it's depending on like lack of availability and you move to something that looks similar cost VM to VM, but then the storage is more. It's just something to track.
But this is Kubernetes, so normally on Docker nodes, you don't have that much storage, so it should be okay.
Yeah, you should be right.
Crazy.
But it might be. Yeah, you'd have that in a shared file system, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
Had shared. Yeah, so it should just be your boot bit. It should be pretty minimal, shouldn't it? Really.
Well, at least based on our knowledge, that's what we think.
Yes, I haven't built a Kubernetes in a while.
Well, don't tell me.
To be honest, if I build anything Docker, I just put it straight into a managed service these days.
Yes.
I mean, I do use Docker a lot. But I haven't used Kubernetes in a long time, and even then, saying "used" is a strong word.
Same here. I understand the concept. I know what it does, but in production, I've never used it seriously.
I've been in places where we have, but yes. I wasn't one of the important people. Let's put it that way. Okay, noise.
Visibility. And about your previous comment, it's not always bad to be not the important one.
Well, mate,
it's brilliant because they don't wake you up at 2 a.m.
Yeah, 100%.
Visibility. Amazon CloudWatch logs announces increased query result limits. So Amazon CloudWatch logs now support retrieving up to 100,000 results using the log insight query language. Customer can specify the limit in their queries using the limit command, a classic SQL. Previously, customers were limited to 10,000 results and had to split their query into smaller time range to retrieve all results. Well, now you can get results 10 times more, really. And so use existing features, a pattern, visualization, and export the full 100,000 result sets. So they've also updated the Get Query Result API to support pagination, and you will get in each page up to 10,000 results. So it can be used with a token. That's basic AWS. But so now CloudWatch, you can get your results up to 100,000 results in one go, instead of many more.
Nice. Commitment. Just a bit of bad news, really. But nothing majorly surprising for anyone. We've got an Azure retirement, RIs for VMs, starting on the 1st of July 2026. Purchases and renewals will no longer be available for 1 year. Azure reserved VM instances for the AV2, MV2, BV1, D, DS, DV2, DSV2, FS, FSV2, G, GS, LS, and LSV2 VMs. Additionally, 1 year and 3 year reservation instances for DV3, DSV3, EV3, and ES33 series will no longer be available for purchase and renewal. So the 1 years we're kind of expecting because the 3 years rolled off a little while ago, but there are some new ones going into the 3 year. Now, let me tell you the problem with this. Go and get the list price of these now, the ones that are about to go out, if you haven't already got it, because if you want to be able to create effective savings rate, you will need that, and the only way to go back and get it is to find your billing export from that month and then get your list price out of that for when you had it on list price. So if you haven't got on list price now, it's paying the bum, so go and record it. I brought this up in a pricing insight briefing with Microsoft at FinOps X, to which they were really interested in. We talked about it quite a bit, but it is kind of a niche problem. But for those of you who like ESR and doing VMs RI management, it's worth noting.
So what you're saying is I cannot ask for my price list of in the past.
Kind of, yeah. And to the point, so your billing data now, once this rolls on, you will only get the price that you're paying.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you then call, so what I then did is I created an API call that read through the VMs there and then went and requested anything that was in my list, went and requested the list price from the API for all of those things. But I kept finding gaps in it. And I was like, why am I getting gaps in it? Like, is something going wrong? I wasn't getting an error. They don't exist anymore because they're not available. It's no VM. So there is no list price. So if you want to be able to do that, you need to track. You need to keep the list price. And really, what you should be doing, and if you speak to people like Cloud Health, Cloud Ability, etc., they have been keeping their own data price list for years. You used to for AWS, but for Azure, you will need to do that to be able to do ESR. Alternatively, if you want to know how I got around everybody, I used the average ESR rate for a similar size machine because I had to do something, and I just noted that in my assumptions because in this particular client where I was there for a short amount of time, I couldn't go back through 7 years of data to find an on-demand price for that particular item. Because you can get basically the price sheets for every given month, and I think it's saved. I actually chatted to Michael Flanagan on the subject as well. He was in this briefing, and what a lovely guy, by the way. And he was very helpful. But he thinks they're kept for like quite a few years. You can go back and get those. But I was like, I don't know what month they may have had those on demand. So I worked my way around it instead. Oh, are you flagging that it's me again next after the noise?
Yep.
Thank you. Pricing. Apogee X. I don't know what the number is. Google 501102321, which proves that I don't just read what's on the screen, guys. Fixed recurring fee calculation in monetization to correctly apply plan overrides. This was one from your clever research, right?
Yes, and that's quite interesting. I have no clue what this
I'll Google
is.
It then.
Fixed recurring fee. There was something.
Oh, they fixed the calculation that was going wrong in the
monetization. They were doing a bad plan rato, and so they corrected that. But let's keep it there. There is something is being corrected. It might mean for API GX that you might have past calculation which were wrong that might changed. So if you see your graphs changing, that's possible that it's been now corrected, or that things will not follow exactly the trend you were expecting. So maybe some forecasts changes. Anyway, that's my guess. Yep. Next one, Amazon Cloud from Premium Flat Rate plan now supports configurable usage allowances. Gosh, what does that mean? Previously, the Amazon Cloud from Premium Flat Rate plan supported a single usage allowance, and customers who outgrew it needed to contact us to discuss custom pricing options. Now, the Premium plan offers a range of self-service monthly usage level ranging from 500 million to 6 billion requests and 50 terabytes to 600 terabytes. So customers can scale within the plan as the application grow. I think with my $4 to spend a month, that doesn't apply to me.
Well, with my $1.32 in my personal AWS account, it probably doesn't go to me either.
No.
That's a little bit of extra S3 I'm using. I'll check it on my $40 a month.
For me, I think my biggest spend is Route 53.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, I do my DNS elsewhere. I've still got access to a previous company where I buy my domains, and I get free DNS for buying a domain. I'm not going to say where that is, in case people go and just start buying all the domains there. But it's a really good DNS system. I used to work on it.
Okay, so yes.
But I forgot what I was going to say. So, but yeah, I think it's one of those things that FinOps X, and I talked to people about, like, we build quite a bit of stuff, but we do so much in serverless, and we play the free tier game like quite extensively. I think it always staggers people how little we spend on cloud. It's in the a few hundreds.
But yes, that's the idea. When you start paying attention, there are lots of things you can do, but if you don't have time and that's not a priority, I understand. The thing is that too often it doesn't come as a mandate. This is the goal. It just comes as, someone has decided that we don't care about cost, or someone has not has decided we care about cost.
Even with our tiny spend, I halved our Azure bill a couple of months ago by just paying a bit more attention.
Yeah, you delete everything. I can cut it by 100%.
Yeah, well, I just changed a few bits. It was a few minutes work. Did I tell you I came second in the game day, the AWS game day?
Yes, you were telling me. Yes, you told me. With
Mike from Dolby beat me. We were winning with like a minute to go. Fair play to them. Couldn't lose to a nicer person. I don't know who else is on this team, but he is very nice. I don't know if he listens to this. I don't think he does. Right, noise.
Oh. Yeah. Savings. AWS Lambda supports schedule scaling for function on Lambda managed instances. So AWS Lambda now supports schedule scaling for function running on Lambda managed instances using Amazon Event Bridge Scheduler. This ability allows you to define one-time or recurring schedule that proactively adjusts your function capacity limit of expected traffic to meet your performance target during peak period and avoid cost during idle periods. So you can schedule, your scaling for Lambda. That's quite cool. And it's on Lambda managed instances. Okay. So Lambda managed instances let you run Lambda function on managed EC2 instances with building, routing, load balancing, and auto-scaling. Capacity scales between your configured minimum and maximum execution environment limit based on traffic. Previously, customers with predictable traffic patterns, such as business hours application, marketing events, were required to manually adjust capacity limits ahead of non-demand change or build custom automation to manage scaling on a schedule. With schedule scaling, you don't need to do that, and it's all going to be taken care of for you. Yoo-hoo!
Nice. I don't know if it's worth doing the next one, because obviously that's happened now since you did the research.
Yeah, but the first one was also, we've been at a FinOps X, both of us. So that's FinOps News, and it was quite an interesting event in San Diego, and it was also officially the last FinOps X, and also the last Fox, which I can. But
yes, delighted to get a bluey.
Yes, me too, and I've also had an orange one for participating in that.
Oh, you did, and you were very good in that.
But what was very funny is I started my presentation by saying, I'm doing this exclusively to get the Fox.
Yeah.
And at the back, there was Rob Martin, and he threw a Fox above all the participants just for me. That felt just in front of me.
Yes, that was on FinOps for data centers, wasn't it? Which was, I think, the best chalk talk I went to. But I was very lucky to be with Amanda in my group as well. And then you were in one of the groups, which always helps.
Yes, very much. And for me, it was a very interesting one too, because it was Alessandro Bellini from Max Mara who really thought through it and was identifying the 4 or 5 elements you need to pay attention into a data center. So
we had Alec from Kraken, who's a great guy as well. It was just an all-round good set of people, wasn't it, in the group? That's the thing with chalk talks. A lot of it lands down to who you landed in the room with in the group. I think there was an AI one which had like 200 people. That had been unworkable. This one was really good sized groups, some clever people.
And it was pre-con.
It was in pre-con, yeah. Yeah, but I think one of the pre-con AI ones was like almost everyone went there.
Yeah, not surprising. Yeah, but anyway, let's continue then. So yes, FinOps X, the keynotes are online, so you can watch them. They are very interesting.
Are they fully online now? I don't know if the recording was...
1 and 2 are online. The keynotes, 1, yes. The recording of the sessions, no.
Yes.
So that's what you can go and have a look at. Next, here we go. So I'm going to kill this one. AWS organizations now support higher quotas for service control policies, the SCPs. So now you have higher quotas. The maximum number of SCPs that can be attached to a single node, root, OU, or account has increased from 5 to 10. and the maximum SCP size has increased from 5,120 to 10,240 characters. So you can now write SCP with finer-grained permissions and conditions, attach more SCP per node, or build more comprehensive security control across your organization. And I stopped there because I really struggled with the sentence SCP and comprehensive in the same sentence.
I thought you did very well.
Me.
I thought you did very well.
You read it and say, Anyway, that's it. And my mouse has decided to be very slow, so I don't know what's happening. Is mine next?
Yeah. You've done say yeah. Okay. Sorry, it broke up a bit for me on this end. So we're in the Misc and Silly, which has come from Frank's research. Azure Microsoft IaaS deploy high-performance workloads with a system-level approach. The blog is the third part of a blog series called Azure IaaS, which will share best practices and guidance to help you build a trusted infrastructure platform from performance, resilience, security, to scalability and cost efficiency. So again, that's another one we'll share. And I'm assuming by the fact that it's in here, and Frank has done a lot of the wider research. I just went and found a few of the hidden bits. Compute efficiency for platform acceleration, bandwidth. Yeah, it's actually looks pretty well written. I've always said Azure do the better blogs, but this one looks pretty good. It's by
I think Google usually does the really good technical blogs.
Yeah, I said Google do really good technical blogs. This isn't super technical actually reading through it, but it's quite nicely written. We like technical blogs though, don't we? That's part of our problem. And they do write, like, you can follow it along and do it in the Google ones. I always think that's really quite good. Oh my goodness, there's a lot in here.
Yeah.
You're next, mate.
Yeah, mine is next. So AWS Marketplace now supports programmatic procurement with Agreements API. So it enables you to procure AWS Marketplace product and manage agreements programmatically. With this launch, you can generate, estimate, accept offers, track changes and entitlements, update purchase orders, and manage agreement all within your existing tools and workflows. Combined with the Discovery API, the Agreement API provides an end-to-end procurement journey from product discovery to purchase. You can integrate this API into your procurement system to build custom workflow and streamline operation across your organization. I found this very interesting because we don't talk enough about procurement. At the same time, I find also it simplifies in my head how vendors can provide you with potentially bundles that you're going to buy a product and it's going to come attached or with other products which are going to be automatically acquired as part of this. Or our companies like yours, Siniega Consultancy, will allow you to install and potentially remove fast pieces of software from the marketplace.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So we do advise on Marketplace quite a lot, as you can imagine, especially, and we did it in the past, right, when people had commitment issues.
Yep.
As in large-scale commitment issues that we're not allowed to talk about in any detail because of NDAs. But we get them there, and the rules have got tighter. But
yes,
I still don't think many people are using it as effectively as they could, is what I'll say.
Yes, that's well said. Next one, still mine. AWS Marketplace introduced tax management portal for sellers. So there is a new tax management portal that provides seller a streamlined self-service process to view and download invoices, eliminating the need to request invoices through support channel. Tax management portal integrates the invoice management directly into the AWS Partner Central Console. So on one side, they talk to you about tax, that all the reference are invoices. But anyway, you now have a centralized access to both seller listing fee invoice and invoices issued by buyers in applicable regions. The portal streamlines invoice retrieval, record keeping for sellers, and partners team managing AWS Marketplace operations. So if you have, if you are using the marketplace and it's a mess, or not a mess, but you have lots of invoicing, this might help you because tax is, as always, one of the harder things to crack and keep track of. yours is next.
It is, yeah. So it's Azure. The general availability of Entra-only identities for Azure Files SMB. So with native Microsoft Entra ID authentication, organizations can now grant secure identity-based access to SMB file shares using cloud-only identities. So it means no Active Directory, no hybrid sync, or domain controllers required, significantly simplifying the architecture and reducing the ongoing management and maintenance costs. Entra-only identities elevate Azure Files with a highly integrated modern identity experience, delivering a leading best-in-class standard for secure, seamless, and comprehensive cloud-native access. We use Entra for all our cloud access. And I'm going to play around with this because I kind of didn't realize it wasn't already possible. So I need to see exactly what is different with this SMB piece. But I think it's Azure Files rather than Azure Blob, but you can put things in File before. So I'll have a look at that one hand on. But it's, I think, just a wider piece around this, being able to just use Entra as your single piece across the board, and which is,
I think you can. Yeah, you can.
We even use Entra for our AWS.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So yes. I think it simplifies that you don't have to synchronize, especially with SMB, between the cloud and your environment. If you just have cloud credentials, you can synchronize these probably. Or
Entra is your M365 credentials, right? So even you've got the online version of those, which is cool. Google. I see you. So they call it "What's New Google Cloud" or in Google Cloud, and Frank's comment at the top is copyright.
Yes. With a smile.
With a smile. We have spoken to them a bit about making it easier for us to get their data, please. But the fractional G4 VMs are now generally available. We brought this up previously when they were in preview, but they provide a highly efficient and cost-effective entry point for AI and graphics workloads. These new configurations using NVIDIA GPUs technology allows you to leverage the power of the RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell Server Edition, but in smaller increments. So you can have a half GPU, a quarter GPU, and an eighth GPU.
And we're done for this month.
My goodness. Thank goodness. I'm now late to my next recording, which will be no surprise is about AI. That's one nice thing about this is, yes, when there's news about AI, we talk about it, but I don't feel like I have to bring it up in every conversation, which is an absolute delight. And of course, the other delight is going to speak to you, Frank. And that should never be underestimated in its importance.
Pleasure to speak to you too. Looking forward to this talk. Bye. Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you later. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.